Hi. Before you start, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell to receive notifications whenever there's new content. There's also a little YouTube button below for you to share the video. So if you're part of a quality, risk management, or QMS group on WhatsApp, send this video to everyone. That way, you'll help QMS bring knowledge to more people and encourage us to continue producing more content like this. Well, let's get straight to the point. Today, I'm going to show you 3 fundamental steps for mapping risks in your company. Number 1. Identifying the risks. The first step could not be any other. Identifying the risks. Sounds obvious, right? But how do you do it the right way, in a way that adds value to your company? The first thing you need to do is list all your company's activities and processes. Commercial process, contracting process, production process, auditing process. In short, all the processes. If your company already has a process map, this makes this stage much easier. Now, within each process, you will list the activities involved. And here comes the most important part: identifying the risks of each activity. This is the most logical and efficient way to map the risks within your company. Important. In this video, I'm not going to talk about specific risk management tools. The focus here is on the 3 essential steps that work with any tool. But if you want to delve deeper into this subject, click on the card above to access our video on risk management tools. Number 2. Prioritizing risks. After identifying the risks, you need to prioritize them. But how do you define which risks need more attention? This is where the use of prioritization tools comes in, helping to quantify the risk. A very common method is to use a probability and severity matrix. How does it work? You assess the likelihood of the risk occurring, from 0 to 10, for example. Then you assess the severity of that risk if it were to materialize, also from 0 to 10. By multiplying these 2 factors, you get a number that indicates the criticality of the risk. For example, imagine a risk within the audit process, such as not sending the audit report to the certified companies. Here at QMS, the likelihood of this risk happening is very low because our processes are highly automated. But if it did happen, the impact would be extremely high. If we assign probability, chalk to 1 severity, chalk for 10, multiply, chalk 10, and you get a risk index, chalk 10. Now let's say that your company decides to prioritize all risks with an index greater than or equal to 10. That risk would go on the list of those that need attention. Each company can establish its own criteria for defining which risks are priorities. The important thing is that this prioritization is well structured to focus on the risks that really matter. Number 3. Risk mitigation action plans. Now that you've identified and prioritized the risks, it's time to take action to reduce them. And this is where action plans come in. How does it work? For each risk identified, you need to define recommended actions to mitigate it. The aim is to reduce the likelihood and/or severity of the risk. This can be done in different ways, depending on the type of risk. For example, creating more robust processes, automating tasks to avoid human error, offering training to employees, improving internal controls. And these actions need to be well structured. In other words, each action plan must have a responsible person, someone who will monitor the implementation of the action, defined deadlines, a timetable for implementing the improvements, effectiveness indicators, ways of measuring whether the action has actually reduced the risk. Practical example: if the risk we identified was not sending the audit report to clients, an action to mitigate it could be to automate the sending of reports and create alerts in the system to avoid human error. Summary of the 3 steps. So, regardless of the methodology you use, these 3 steps will always be fundamental to structuring your company's risk management. 1. Risk identification. Map processes and list the risks of each activity. 2. Risk prioritization. Define criteria to identify the most critical risks. 3. Action plans. Create strategies to reduce risks and monitor the results. If you follow this structure, you will ensure that your company is always one step ahead in risk management. Thank you very much for watching. Now, before you leave, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell so you don't miss any new content. See you in the next video.